And as we counted down the goodbye to 2020, everyone was flipping the bird to 2020. Everyone was like, so glad that's behind us. And there was this little niggly voice in the back of my head going, we are so far from done.
With piano bar venues in Geelong and Colac, Andy was forced to stand down staff.
Was this just a 2-year, 3-year fad?
Well, with lockdown restrictions stopping us from heading out for a big night,
You start running out of resources, and that's not just money, it's mental fortitude.
And tonight concerns are growing about the mental battle many are facing.
It's enough to break some people. It's interesting when you open up something in a small town that you've grown up in, and a lot of people that you know and trust tell you that there's no appetite for a business like this in this town. People think that you're crazy. You shouldn't be following this dream. This is like a rabbit hole that if you go down, it might ruin you. Just to see the waiting list and to see the demand that we didn't know existed, there's just a moment when you say, we're onto something. And you have to start following it through to like every possible length, every bit of energy you got to put into it. And that's what we did. We just jumped on board. And then the right people start appearing in your life. Creating a sense of community among musicians and performers is notoriously difficult. It's an inherently competitive industry. People are trying to outdo themselves for work, outdo themselves for prestige and recognition. What we've managed to do with an audience here at Piano Bar is connect a group of people like the over 40s or some even older, everyone from 18 to 88 we like to say. We've given them a place where they can come and not feel too old or too gay or too dorky or too shy. And we've coupled that with some entertainers who have come in and really given of themselves. And that's broken down all the walls. So then we have a place where no one has any pretense when they walk in. They're excited to be there. There's a freedom in asking for a song that you want and finding someone else in the room that loves exactly the same music as you do. There's something magical about sitting down and not knowing where a night goes, and that creates a pretty magic atmosphere really, where everybody feels connected. And in the entertainment business, sometimes that's hard to achieve. And that's, I think, the intangible that we've managed to, I don't know, like cultivate into something that is now, you walk in and it's the essence of this place, this business. And then we start thinking, okay, now's the time to really put the pedal to the metal. We open up Ballarat, we sign a lease on Bendigo. 3 weeks open in Ballarat, COVID hits. And we're shut down for 6 months. This is where your nerve and your resolve really starts to crumble, and that imposter syndrome does start to kick in. You start thinking, did I see things that were not there? Were the voices that were in my life when we started, were they right all along? Was this just a 2-year, 3-year fad or a flash in the pan? But you can't give in to those voices. You have to go back to where it all started, back to that small 50-seat venue with the leaky grease trap at the back, stank pigeons at the back, stank next to a fried chicken shop. You have to go back to that and say, right, the same energy that drove us to get to where we are now in such a short time is the same energy that's going to push us through whatever gets thrown at us now. And that ethos, that MO has been what has got us through this last 18 months, as tough as it's been. So many businesses have been hit much harder than others, and that's what's made it tough for us. We've found that we were the first to be shut down. We're some of the most highly restricted in what we can and can't do as a business, and we'll most certainly be the last to be fully let out of lockdowns and out of restrictions.
live music venues are evolving to cater to virtual audiences. As Alan Rascal discovered, Geelong's Piano Bar has been live streaming daily performances for more than a month.
But then we'd put all this time and effort into opening the venue, and we got in there and then it just got taken away from us straight away. And I think part of my reaction to that disappointment and almost panic really, not outwardly but shaken to the core, was to fight back. And that's where the 100 nights in a row came from. And mentally there was something amazing about getting up every day and doing something. That discipline is something that I've probably struggled a bit with in life. I think sometimes I'll coast through a little bit. But to wake up and plan a live stream, a little broadcast, and to have a big audience watching and to do it every day was me making a statement going, this is not going to get the better of me. I spent 100 nights in a row from the first night that we got locked down all the way through just live streaming every single night. It was an extreme measure, but it got some really great traction and it got a lot of people through a tough time at the start of the lockdowns. And for us, that's just been the cornerstone of all of what we've done with the restrictions. So when we get locked down, we go straight back to live streaming, but that keeps the momentum going through so that our audience is still thinking of us. It was a huge risk opening this business to begin with, but the payoffs have been enormous, both personally, both professionally, and from a business point of view, we've been able to grow this ourselves. And there's an enormous sense of pride and accomplishment that we've taken from that. COVID, to an extent, took that away, but if anything else, every action has an equal and opposite reaction, and we feel like we've got this enormous energy behind us, almost like a slingshot. They've taken us back so far, but when it lets go, we're just excited. We're so pumped. So I would say, hold on to those dreams and those goals that you've written down, that you've sworn to yourself that you're going to follow through. This is more than a blip. It's enough to break some people. But we'll get through COVID. And in 3 or 4 years' time, we'll all look back and we'll go, we made it. And I think we're going to be better for it.